Hello, beautiful people, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's underscore Gintu back again to the root of today. Here we are. It's one-on-one live, and I'm coming from Nyabuhanse here a little bit to have some shoppings here to make sure that everything is just going. Today I'm going to be on foot to make sure that I'm just getting the fresh air here and there, making sure everything is just coming very fantastic here. So as far as everything is concerned, just in the evening session here, and everything is just very good, and everything is just running as the way it has been controlling, and everything is just going as usual. Good, and we are just making it to come to you live. And wherever you're coming from, thank you very much for you being tuned and locked in. So today, guys, I was just in town here a little bit to know more about what happened to Mama Ann's family, because it has been krakatouing, it has been delightfully, things are not going as it had been contented to go. And what is just coming out physically is that I've been meeting much of the people here and there, so as I can just discuss and know what's really happening. And today, one-on-one, I've just met with Agi, who is now making sure that he's giving out one-on-one Mama Ann's family channel and running it very fantastic. So what is coming out right now, it seems that things are not just going as normal the way they are, because much of the people are talking about, oh, this kind of the things has happened this way, this kind of thing has happened that way. East, west, and south, and center, it's how everything is just going on. Yeah, but the real effect of the day, we're going to be talking about the real subsequent of the manner, is that we talked about much of the thieves have just califragistically taken over in Nyabuhanse panel. So today I've just arrived here so that I can just know more details about where did the dogs go and where did the animals go, because where did the cements go, because we talk about Mama Ann's family. There was a stealing of a cow, and that kind of a cow, it was not belonging to them. It was one of their neighbor who always talk about, I want to have a place because I don't have an enclosed home, so they can just put my cow, so they can just sleep, or put some of the things like a good area enclosed for security purposes. So they trusted on Mama Ann's family, so they can just make sure that they're gonna be keeping their animals there. It's not the first time, it's not 1 month, it's not 1 day, it's just several months ago, and they started keeping there. So sometimes I always talk about there's nothing can ever happen without having a reason, and that is the real fact, because I cannot go much of the details because still the investigation is going on, and we're going to be having that area of the Conrad talk about Mama Ann's family, because the Conrad is beside them. They're going to be having talk about a village talk about gathering much of the people and making sure they're going to be coming for the meetings of the village, so they can just discuss and know what's really by faulting, what's really happening, and how the things are just by faultly are coming to this kind of the scenarios, east, west, and south, and center. That is the real fact. So what is now coming out vividly is whereby they're talking about it was just at night, and one of the gates, you know, the entry, the outside, maybe some of the people are just getting in, some are getting out. So sometimes it's becoming something like legitimacy for the village life is whenever before even much of the bigger boys could just approach and get into the home, they have that kind of a scenario whereby the gate should be just left open before closing it at night. So that's what was just getting on, and that kind of a cow, they just came with it, and maybe they never closed the gate, and those are just much of the things that are coming out, so as people can just understand them properly. So right now it's becoming a problem right now here, so as they cannot just imagine what's really happening to the real fact of the time, that oh, this kind of the thing is happening, A, B, C, D, and now Mama Ann's are just allocated to make sure that they are the people who are having this kind of the cow, and they know how the deal was just made. And how can we talk about the deal was made this way? The deal is always made whenever we have two parties joining, but this kind of the family doesn't understand that where did the cow go, how did it happen, and who was subsequently alleged to have this kind of the deal coming out. So we are now thrown into an imbroglio, so everybody's just doubting who is who. So whenever you go to the police station, whenever you go to the village elder, whenever you go to much of the people who are just always talking about oh, A, B, C, D, how can you just interfere with such kind of a thing? So it's becoming so mongoosely and heterozygously we talk about this is the condition that is just by faulting to our own villages. scenarios here. And also whenever we talk about Max One was talking about the home was being broken, and also they stole much of the cement from the store. And when we talk about how did it happen, much of the people who are always doing this kind of the scenarios, they understand themselves. They know that whenever I go to this kind of the particular time, this kind of the people, they are not available. Whenever I go to this particular time, this kind of the people are no longer. Whenever, or you know, the sleeping time, you know, this and this. That's the real fact. And that's what is now bringing much of the default and kata booming points that can just come out, which is throwing people into the pogrom of the day. And also, whenever we talk about, you understand the Nasto story, it was a very sarcasm, that it was just a planned issue, and he had to throw people into the back of the sermon, so that people can just understand what's really happening and how did it happen, for making sure that the donation is just coming in like Safari Rally. That's the real fact. And when we go back to the real scenario of the day, that making sure that we're going to be kicking up and making sure we are just understanding what's really happening with the scenario that's now getting on round into the platform. Much of the people are just still not understanding the real fact about the Kenge fraternity, because yesterday you talked about, you saw much of the videos coming east, west and south, and much of the people are not they're not getting it, that how did it happen that Kenge went to just excavate. It's like excavating the remains of a person. So you know, whenever we talk about this kind of the reality of the time, you understand the real fact about the cremation, how the things are going to be getting, and you know that that kind of a box that's always putting such kind of the remains and the cremated remains, talk about the ashes, and whenever you just take it from the absolute moment, wherever it was, it's like excavating the whole talk about it's like how can you call it, a grave of a person. So that kind of the set, talk about the object was just put there so they can just relax, and that kind of a person who was there, you could just rest in peace. But now you are going to disturb the dead. So Kenge has reached out the point, is now disturbing the dead. So this is always we're talking about the reality has to come out as a reality, and the default has to come out as a default. What's really becoming a sarcasm is whereby much of the people think about you are a bigger commando of travel commando, but whenever you come to the real scenarios of the time, that okay, what have you done to the regime? What have you done to Asquamit? This kind of the things here. You are traveling for nothing. Now, if you cannot understand this, is do you have the metal detector? You know, sometimes you have to understand it clearly. How can a person go and talk about I have found the minerals, yet you don't have the metal detector? You don't have anything. So as we can talk, you know, we are talking about you have gotten, you thought about now you're going to be rich. And whenever God talk about your richness is going to be getting to an end. That's the real fact. There's nothing you can ever do whenever things get to the default of you. Because every time it will be scenario. Every time it will be scenario. Why am I saying so? It means that you understand that Kenge was thinking about going to be getting maybe talk about jewelries and getting much of talk about expensive watches, talk about getting mambo. Maybe the golden bracelets, such kind of the things here and there. But the real fact, whenever he wanted to open, and how did he shoot the video? You know, you understand much of the things how they do come once and again. That we are having much of the pogromicity of the time. That how did he go and open such kind of the cremated box? And it was a little bit having some shenanigans, east, west and south there. Hey, salaam alaikum. Muko fit? So that's what is coming as a default right now, that things are not getting properly handled, and the karma is real. You know, whenever we subsequently go direct to the point and pinpoint the point direct, is where we can just find that a person talking about, oh, I got a metal detector, then I was going this way, then I found this kind of a substance. And when I opened the substance, no, it was not this way. No, you know, the metal detector always detects not only the talk about the metal that's outside, maraba, but it detects what is inside. That's what is detected. But to the Kenge, hey, He talked about now I found a rock. Beneath the rock there's something good. So right now, guys, he's in a run. That's the real fact, because he was having much of the things to handle. Talk about making sure that, oh, these are the family and introducing them to this and then this. Hey, hi. How are you? Sasa. Mnacheza aje? Si wewe yeye. Inda. Sasa. Wow. Wow. Next. Inda. Oh, pass. Muko fiti?
Yes.
Hi. Sasa. Yeah. So when we go back to the same point, it was by the way there. So when we go back to the point and we really understand what's really taking over the game is whereby we are having a mind of knowing much. Not knowing that some of other things are gonna not have too much knowing. And that is what is now bringing some of the shenanigans. Niaje. Oso kiri. Kohe. Oso kiri. Bakke igoro kabisa.
Yaani kuisha wapi mlimani? Niulize mlimani au niko na feel kwamba ni hapa
Kano ganse hano. Oh, haya. Tigambe sasa nkango soha.
Nenso kisa sasa nimekuwa huru.
Oh, haya. Nkande.
Kilo safi.
Haya, mimi niko home. Yeah, so guys, I was talking about sometimes some of the things that are hi. So sometimes we are having a problem. Whenever we talk about we are having a problem, that's the real fact. Much of the human. So right now, how are this kind of the people taking this kind of the scenario, and how are they taking it in a granted? Is it in a granted way, or sometimes? Yes, hello. Yes. Oh, alisema atachange kwenda kwa namba ingine. Mtu tofauti. So aliniambia atanitumia hiyo namba tena. Hapana, ina changing. Inabadilikanga. So aliniambia atanitumia. So kuna huyo msemo mwenye atakuwa ametumiwa, then tamlink na wewe. So guys, we are back to the system here. We are talking about the scenario that has got to the village. You know, sometimes somebody can just talk about he's the one who knows more than other people, and he's the one who think about you're gonna understand that, oh, this is how it is performed, this is how this is performed. But when we go to the same scenario of getting to the real point of the time, we really understand that some of the people, they're just there, they're just local people as we are, and they're talking about, oh, we have traveled so many countries. That's just a default of the manner. But when we come to the same exaggeration things is we have to understand each other and know that you know what is making Kenge to have a stupid mind. It's whereby he thinks everything can just solidize with a camera. He thinks that everything has to put in a camera, and he's talking about, hey, you know, whatever comes here, oh, I'll have the evidence in my foot. So now you have an evidence of taking people's bodies. Now that is just making sure that it's like now you are going to you have gone to steal people's bodies from the graves, so which is so nactic and very stupid at the same time. So it's something that it has to be controlled very properly. So here we have reached an wow, guys, here we are. Fantastic. As you can just check much of the doors here. Hey, the dogs here, hey, security is tight. So their father is arriving very fantastic here. And everything is absolutely very correct and going with the system here, exactly. So here we have Fundi Duke. I've just come from Nyabuanse here and making sure that I've walked. Nyabuanse is not so far. It's just a 10-minute walking whenever you just make sure that you are coming very fast. So I've just reached here. So the work is continuing as usual because we have already purchased much of the steels that were in need. and already we have the steels, they are just around here to make sure that the work is in a complete way. So here we go. Mr. Duke, how are you?
Duke.
Fundi Duke.
I'm good.
Everything is fantastic?
Everything is fantastic.
So you are here to finish some of the things here.
Yeah.
So I see the doors now. Where have you reached in terms of the emergency door?
The emergency door, I think, just left with the filling. Filling this.
Yeah, it's filling only the gaps.
Yeah, they already started filling the electricity cornered.
Oh,
so
electricity went.
Yeah.
And you had to sit and wait for it.
I had to sit.
That's the good thing about Africa.
I sat down, I thought of continuing with this one.
Yeah.
So I placed this one down.
Yeah.
And left this. So this one is left with the filling this gaps.
Filling only.
And putting the lock.
Yeah,
and also the inches.
The inches. Yeah, exactly.
Inches, the lock, and the door is
and it's good to go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the upper remaining side, it's for.
This one is for
aeration.
This is the vent, and this one is the glass. The glass will just lie on this one.
Exactly, I understand. So it will just lie here.
So this one are operating as the grill, so that if we remove this one, if the person removes the glass, he can enter. But if this one is here,
he cannot.
He cannot
absolutely
enter. So this one is acting like a grill. And also this one
is acting like
but this one is acting like a flat, but it is going to hold the the glass.
So we are using top-notch security here, top-notch heavy gauges here, and making sure that everything is just gauged here.
And
so
here we have the G.
Here we have the G. It's coming out. This is the G, and here we have the C, which is the G castle here.
Yeah.
So here you can just check now. This is the good design of the door that we have just formulated here, which is very much subsequently very hard enough for us to have the security panel protocols with the standard, with the high standard value of maintaining the house on its legitimacy form. So here we have, it's a GC, which is a G castle. Much of the people are talking about, Fundi Duke, make sure that, who introduced it here? Because I was not the one.
You are one of the subscribers just commented down and said that we have to write the G on the door, the G.
Yeah, the G.
So after I said that the G, and I thought of my design as these two partitions.
Yeah, two partitions.
Where we can place the G. So it is not the G and G. So I decided this one. I decided myself.
You yourself.
And this one. Was one.
The one that was proposed.
Yeah, this one was the one which was proposed.
Exactly.
But I said now these gaps are two. So let's use the own name, the G castle.
The G castle.
So I placed the G here and the castle here.
Exactly. So it's the G castle. Exactly. So that's the fantastic moment here. So I see the next door is here. So already, guys, as you can just check, it's one of the hardest. We can talk about the hardest doors here, because these are the steels, not even a 1 squared. It's a 1 and 1.5, which is one by 1.5, which is by 1.5 mm, which is a very strong door here, which will just subsequently withstand all the pressures that are going to be coming, and making sure that even that's why the stand, it's very, very strong. So as it's the one that's going to be holding the shutters.
Yeah.
The one that will be holding the shutter. So how many kgs is it, man?
Man, this one is very heavy.
This is very heavy.
It is like 40 to 45.
40 to 45 kgs.
And this one is
ranging
from 45 to 60.
45 to 60. One door.
This one is very heavy. Even now, lifting from down there.
You have to make sure the biceps are working.
Those steels there.
Yeah.
Those ones. So I cannot even
exactly.
take it from down.
I understand. And the same design. When we come back to this kind of the design, that's now the biggest door here. Yeah. So they're gonna be opening twice, and it's gonna be having the small door, which is this one here, and you have the bigger door, which is one here. Exactly. So when we talk about that one, so the smaller door cannot have the letter, which is that even this kind of the bigger door gonna be having the GC, which is the G castle here, and it will be the biggest door that will have much of the eye impression for the person who's gonna be coming in and making sure that they're literally coming to check on how the things are just running. We're gonna be coming and meeting the GC, which is the best moment for us to have here. So right now you are covering here. and is covering this kind of the space, so as you can just write there.
And
talk about
and
the
also
letter.
this plate here is heavy gauge, very heavy.
Yeah, this one now,
Take
man.
it,
This
take
is I bought this one because the pickup is in a garage.
It is
I
called
talked
a
about
checker plate.
a check plate. So I bought this one for the pickup because it had to be removed, the one that is inside, where the talk about where the load is always being put. So they can just have this kind of the check plate, which is the brand new. It's very heavy and a very confidential material. Yeah. Talk about the Doshi steel now. Those are now the Doshi steel.
Yeah,
one of the
everything is heavy.
Heavy here, exactly. Yeah. So are we guaranteed security safely?
I think this mission is almost accomplished. Is an accomplished mission because the materials are for security purposes and they are the legit one.
Exactly.
Even the flat bar here.
Yeah, I saw the flat bar here. And guys, even if you step here, you cannot even feel that. Wow.
Even the flat bar, you can check the thickness.
Yeah, the thickness of a flat bar. It's a 4-inch.
Yeah, 4 millimeter.
4 millimeter. Yeah,
very
4
heavy.
millimeter. Wow. So even you can just check it here. So
very heavy.
Even whenever you step, guys, it doesn't even bend. So we have another stuff here. It was a flat bar. Where is it?
It has been taken by the owner.
Oh, they have taken it already. Yeah, there was another one that they're always using, the local ones, that you can just even you can turn it
by
use of a hand. You can twist it. That's the real fact. So here you're talking about here we can just put some of the glasses, and here also it's a glass to make sure that you can just check whoever is outside and who is maybe needing, or maybe somebody has knocked the door. Exactly, because can we make this kind of the door to be electric?
This one.
It will short us.
No, it can't be electric.
It will short us.
There is something which we put here. I don't know the name, but I know
on
to
top.
place it. We just place it here. When you push,
it cannot come with a bang.
Yeah, and it comes back by itself.
I understand. It's on top.
Slow,
it's on top there.
It is. We place it here.
Yeah. I know it. I know it. So that's the only thing that can just be placed there. Exactly. But we have talk about the aluminium doors. The aluminium doors, we're gonna be putting it.
Yeah.
Talk about whenever you can just come, you will have a bell to ring, so as you can just hear inside, whoever is inside. But the fact is, from the outside gate, we're gonna be having a bell. Talk about a bell switch.
The bell switch.
Yeah, and it's gonna be ringing to each and every house here. We're gonna be ringing here and ringing to any person who will be there, so they can just understand that there's somebody who is outside there.
Yeah,
so to the real G Castle here, you can just decide to open much of the doors using the computer. That's the real fact. So everything is just small. We're gonna be making things to have everything has to go accordingly with how we want it to be. So I've checked. You have now changed the gauge. Now you are using 136.
So that I can weld this
the
heavy
plates.
plate here.
Yeah, heavy plates here. Yeah,
if I use the small gauge,
it cannot get.
It cannot
bound. It cannot bond.
Yeah.
Exactly, I understand. So what about the windows, man? The windows are still there, or you have just changed a little bit?
Today I said that let me
deal with those.
Deal with these doors. Tomorrow I'll deal with the windows.
Exactly.
In the morning, because
I have already brought much of the steels here, and that's the real fact about the G here. Whenever we talk about we're gonna be doing something very legit, we have already democratized here with much of they talked about 1 inch square. Talk about one square.
1 by 1 by.
Which is 1 squared by 1.5 mm. I've already brought 10 because we are needing 9 of them, but I brought 10, so as we cannot go for a shot again. That's why we just brought much of them here. So tomorrow we're gonna be continuing the same job again, going on, and already promised much of the things gonna be coming to you live, which is one-on-one, and everything gonna be coming to you whenever we just talk about this is how we go forward. So keep it tuned, keep it locked as we just make it happen. So go support Foodie Duke is here, which is FUNDYDUKE.
Yeah, guys, continue subscribing. I'm seeing the channel is going up. Continue subscribing.
Yeah.
You can see what I'm doing. So I'm not uploading videos, but after this, because there are 2 missions, I have to fulfill this one and also fulfill the other one.
Exactly.
So I'm very busy, as you can see. Since morning I was dealing with this one. It is a very hard job.
A very hard job. Exactly. I understand it.
I've been dealing with this one since morning.
Yeah.
After that, I came to this one, and I'm still in. I'm still continuing to
make it happen.
Yeah,
exactly.
So guys, continue watching the previous videos so that I can attain the
watch hours.
Yeah. I'll as from tomorrow, let me just shoot my videos while I'm coming from home.
Yeah.
To the G Castle.
Yeah, exactly.
And I immediately reach here.
Yeah.
I show them the progress and also everything. Then
how you bound yourself and
upload the video. Yeah. As from tomorrow. Exactly. But for today, I think I'll be busy until 6. 6,
yeah. It's approached. It has already approached.
It is already 6.
Yeah, it's already 6. I think so.
Let me see.
If I'm not wrong.
Confirmation first. Guys, it is 6.
Yeah, it's 6:21. 6:21, exactly. So you're gonna be getting out here from 7. I understand.
I'm going to get out.
Yeah. So it's 7. Only just this kind of the plates here, and you're gonna be fixing them a little bit here. Yeah. And tomorrow you write the name. Yeah. You write the letters here. Exactly. And also talk about tomorrow. You're gonna be finishing the windows, all of them. You're gonna start with the other ones, or you're gonna finishing this one?
I'm going to finish all of them.
Yeah.
And I think tomorrow I'll come with someone
grinder
to grind this while I'm finishing this.
Yeah. So when you finish, it means that now tomorrow, but one, which is on Sunday, you're gonna not have to work. It's just on Sunday.
The guy said that the guy who is going to paint said that he will work on Sunday.
He will work on Sunday.
So I'll prepare for him everything, and I leave for him, and he will paint them on Sunday.
Exactly.
So on Monday when we come, they are already dry.
Yeah.
They can
be fixed.
Yeah.
Now we start talking about to the deck. We're gonna be talking now about the deck. So we are just planning everything very local arrangement here, because we are the people who are just onto the ground, and we should inform much of the people on how we're gonna be doing it and how we're gonna be getting forward to make sure that everything is just covered here one-on-one. Thank you very much, bro, for your work. Continue and making sure that everything is coming. So guys, go check him and subscribe, like, to share, and also it's Fundi Duke, FUNDY DUKE, Fundi Duke, and subscribe there and make sure that we are tangled. So it's talking about the grinding. The grinding is going to be using this kind of a grinder, but not this kind of the disc here. Going to be having some of the 2 discs here that are used in terms of the grinding. So here they are. This kind of the disc, it's used in terms of grinding. So you're going to be used in terms of making sure that I'm going to be grinding this kind of the doors and also the windows here. So talk about we have this kind of the paint. The paintings are here already, 2 of the cans here to make sure that it's 4 liters, which is 8. And I think we have bought it's called kerosene. Yeah, I think we bought much of the kerosene here to make sure that you're gonna be mixed here, so as you can just have a legit color, which is the first coat, and we have to cover everything here. So what we are talking about the grinding is making sure that this kind of the spots are just very put as a minimal. Talk about flashing with the metal here. This kind of the ones that are just coming out, they should just flash with the metal. That's what we call about the grinding, because much of them, they're just protruding outside. Like this one here, it's coming out than leaving the metal very far. So it's gonna be grinded and flashed with this kind of the window, so as you can just move forward here. So this is I think even it's having so much light here, so much light, and that's why we're talking about Fundi Duke has a little bit of a problem here whenever we're gonna be finishing this kind of the work. And much of the people, I heard much of the people talking about Fundi Duke gonna be having a problem whenever it gets to the older edges, because it's just making sure that is receiving this kind of the rights here and there. So you're gonna be having some problem. That's why he talks about you're gonna be purchasing much of the goggles that are very fantastic in terms of doing this kind of the work here. So as I just check outside here, today it has not rained already, but we are looking forward to make sure that God knows why and how, and everything gonna be coming out as we're gonna be fixing much of the errors that we are having here as a subsequent manner. So everything gonna be coming to you live, which is one-on-one at the G Castle here. The work is continuing, and I just played with much of the people supporting Gintu. I'm talking about Gintu. We should just move forward. That is the best moment that we are looking for, not the ones that we are always shenaniganing, heterozagas, everything. Everything has to go on spontaneously the way we are acknowledge it to go. So keep it tuned, keep it locked, as everything gonna be coming to you live, because the tiling, we are done with the tiling process on top. So it's just welding, and tomorrow, talk about on Monday, we're gonna be fixing the windows where necessary. And from there, we're gonna be now checking from the top deck. We're gonna be continuing with the deck. And also I've spoken with much of the guys who are representing the terrazzo. They have just talked about they're gonna be making sure that we are getting much of the measurements, so they can just democratize with much of the material, so they're gonna be coming in. Whenever we're gonna be having other things coming, we're gonna be gathering much of the terrazzo materials approaching the destination. This is the underscore Gintu. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, and sharing. So let's go forward, and this is just the end.